Evolution can sometimes appear like an arms race. Each improvement by attack or defense then needs to be matched by the enemy. This arms race took place over more than 20 million years between the ferocious Utahraptor and its would-be prey, Gastonia.
Here we had raptors and armored dinosaurs here for 22 million years. So it was an arms race, both of offensive weapons and defensive.
Over 135 million years ago, Utahraptor had taken advantage of an earlier extinction event. In the absence of other major predators, Utahraptor ballooned in size, twice as long and up to 10 times heavier than the iconic Velociraptor, making Utahraptors the largest raptors ever to walk the earth. And suddenly, much bigger herbivores were on the menu, including Gastonia. But Gastonia was far from defenseless.
This is the spiniest dinosaur that probably ever lived.
Paleontologist Jim Kirkland has found hundreds of Gastonia bones across the Utah desert, all of which have revealed that this animal was armored like a tank.
Spines on their back, spines on their sides, spines on their tail. And this animal, these elements seem to be the biggest, the spiniest of each one of these things.
Gastonia's spikes would have made it a formidable target for any hungry Utahraptor. And if that wasn't enough, these blades could overlap, slicing through attackers like a pair of scissors.
Think of someone trying to protect themselves, with a chainsaw blade on a handle. The way they would swing their tail and the way these things would crisscross, these things would chop into a predatory animal because their tail is so powerful. A slash into a predatory animal neck, the head, cause extreme damage, and they would back off.
To take down such a formidable opponent, Utahraptor had to up its game. And luckily for them, they had both a deadly weapon and cunning tactic to shift the odds back in their favor. If they were able to flip Gastonia over, they'd render them defenseless, exposing their softer underbelly, which Utahraptor would swiftly rip to shreds with its 10-inch claws. Predatory tactics like this would have required complex cooperation between different raptors, and luckily for them, Utahraptors were highly intelligent, which we can tell by looking at their brain case.
Look at the size of this. Each about the size of a parrot's brain. And you figure how intelligent a parrot is. This was a very smart dinosaur, no doubt.
Advantage, Utahraptor. But Gastonia wasn't going to take this lying down. And the benefit of ganging up was not lost on them either. Most armored dinosaurs seem to have lived solitary lives, but Gastonia developed the skull of a distinctly social animal, which indicates that they grouped together for protection.
When you put the head in life position, which is tilted down a bit, the eyes could look right at you forward. You can look them in the eye. Plant-eating animals rarely do that.
And for a dinosaur that wouldn't have been able to run away, this could have been essential in tipping the balance back in their favor. But just when it looked like this arms race was heading for a stalemate, Gastonia had one more trick up its sleeve. Because Jim thinks that not only did they group together, they fought together. Like an elite military unit, they turned inwards to face each other so they could coordinate their movements.
They could have had inflatable nasal sacs, chambers, and things in there so that when they could vocalize, and probably very distinctly. And being able to, look at each other and probably make, signals.
Leaving their attackers facing an impenetrable wall of their greatest weapon.
These animals, when they're forming a defensive structure, they'd be looking forward into the ring and swinging their tails. The defense of if these things did go into a group, you couldn't get through them. I don't see any way you could do it. they're almost impenetrable. They're probably just about immune to a Utahraptor.
While Utahraptor would undoubtedly still have attacked Gastonia, facing not just the spikiest dinosaur known to history, but a whole brigade of them, it suggests that this time the arms race was won by the defense. For more incredible prehistoric stories, head to the PBS app or pbs.org to watch Walking with Dinosaurs. 25 years after the iconic original series, the new Walking with Dinosaurs reveals how these colossal creatures lived, hunted, and survived through state-of-the-art visual effects based on the latest evidence. Check out the link in the description to watch this spectacular show.